Welcome to the rebroadcast of the Essential Oils for Horse and Human webinar. The original event took place on August 30th, 2012, but we had some significant technical difficulties, and rather than put a less than par production out there, I decided that I would redo the presentation for you so that you get the information that you need. In the original broadcast, we would have been joined by Jenna Springer and Corwin, but for the sake of efficiency, they'll not be on the rebroadcast, but I'll be telling you the information that they shared on the original event. Before we get started, I do need to tell you that the information in this presentation is for educational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose, treat, prescribe for, or cure any disease or condition. Please consult your preferred healthcare provider or veterinarian when making a health choice. No statements mentioned here have been approved by the FDA. Today we're going to talk about who we are and what we do, those of us who worked to put this project together for you. We'll talk about what are essential oils and what is aromatherapy. We'll also give you an introduction to the use of essential oils for horses and humans alike. We'll give you information on how to get started, and also we're going to tell you about some really great special offers, including how you can get some free essential oils. We'll tell you about a live event that we're offering in October, and much, much more. And we're going to tell you why we personally have chosen natural alternatives. But before I do that, why don't I tell you a little bit about those of us who worked so hard to put this project together for you. So first and foremost is our sponsor for this program, which is Corwin, who's the CEO and president of Sport Horse Products. She's also the executive director of a program called Inner City Slickers, where they take children from the city out to her farm and they work with horses and do some equine therapy. It's really a phenomenal program. You should check them out on Facebook as well. She's a lifelong equestrian and owns 5 horses, and she really started investigating countless natural therapies to help her with horses that she has who, prior to her acquiring them, they had been routinely drugged and medicated with either performance-enhancing drugs or the types of things that can be really toxic and really hard on the body. So she spent years researching natural alternatives, and she emphatically tells people that she chose Young Living essential oils because of their top-notch quality, which we'll discuss a little bit down the road. But that's a little bit about Cindy. The second producer in this program is Jenna Springer, who has a master's degree in nutrition, and she's also a licensed massage therapist. She is the founder of NaturalAnxietyTherapy.com. She not only is a licensed massage therapist, but she teaches in the massage program at the Minnesota School of Business. She has the designation of a gold member for Young Living and has been with the company for over 11 years, so she is a tremendous resource as far as her knowledge and expertise and experience with using essential oils for horses and animals. She's also a wellness and business coach and also a lifelong equestrian. And then there's myself. I am, like I mentioned, Patti Barch, and I have a doctorate in natural health. And I have been operating naturally unbridled holistic life and wellness coaching for about the past 4 years. I am a holistic practitioner. I do have an office in Wisconsin where I see clients and make recommendations, and essential oils are a huge part of what I do here. I am an adjunct professor in natural health and animal health at Kingdom College, and I've written a couple of books, and most importantly, I'd like to let people know that I am a former scientist. I spent nearly 8 years in the biotechnology industry doing oncology and pharmacology research, and that's where I learned that we were no longer searching for a cure for cancer. What we were searching for was a drug that would keep your cancer from growing and spreading, but would not kill you, so that your cancer wouldn't kill you and the drug wouldn't kill you, but we would keep you on the drug for years and years and years, and if you went off the drug, your cancer would come back. And really, that's been the trend for pharmaceutical companies. There was a time where people were trying to cure diseases, and now we're just trying to keep them from progressing so you can be dependent on that drug. And I'll ask you if you've ever heard someone say, well, once you go on blood pressure medicine, you're on it for the rest of your life. Or once your horse goes on thyroid medicine, they're on it for the rest of their life. And I can tell you from experience that that's not always the case. And that if you do restore health and balance to the body, that a lot of those symptoms will go away. I do a lot of teaching. I spent 7 or 8 years as a high school teacher, and I got really good at being able to take complicated information and make it simple for people to understand. And so hopefully you're going to experience some of that. I am also an equestrian. You can see my picture there with my 27-year-old mare, Izzy, and she's just a big part of my life and hangs out in my backyard right now. So again, I said that I would talk to you about why natural alternatives. Well, first of all, there's no such thing as a non-toxic drug, either for animals or for humans. I'm sure you've read some of the articles about bute and other non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, which are known to cause ulcers and kidney damage. So, of course, the horse has a stomach ache, you might give it bute. You know, it's showing some kinds of colic, but perhaps it's ulcers, and you give it more bute, and it gets more ulcers, and you go on this vicious cycle. So that's not always a good idea. Also, there are countless reactions to injections, vaccines, and dewormers. You can see this poor horse in the center picture here has this giant abscess that developed as a response, his body's rejection of some kind of injection. So those types of side effects are common as well. Of course, we've seen joint injections that become infected that can be crippling, debilitating, and even lethal for horses. Overuse of steroids has been known to lead to founder and laminitis. And that's just the horse side of things. If you go ahead and look at the human side of things, over 100,000 Americans, we're not even talking about Canada, which I know we have a lot of Canadians participating in this program, over 100,000 Americans per year die from properly taking their prescription and over-the-counter drugs. These are not deaths from illegal drugs or drug abuse. These are deaths from properly taking their drugs. I'm sure if you ever watch TV, you've seen a commercial for a drug where they talk for 15 seconds about the benefits of the drug and for 45 seconds talking about the possible negative side effects related to that drug. And sometimes even death is a side effect. So when I first got into research, they would shut down any project that caused anything like that, and now they just make you put a warning label and say, well, if you let people know it could kill them, then I guess it's okay for you to give it to them. And the same goes for horses too. So there's a wide variety of people and volumes of people who are really seeking natural alternatives, which goes to show you that we just had hundreds of people who expressed interest in this information. So, like I said, there's just no such thing as a non-toxic drug. All drugs are foreign to the body and recognized as foreign to the body, and the body has to work to metabolize them, break them down, and get them out of the body. And because some of them are so synthetic, they're so foreign from anything that occurs in nature, that your body and your animal's body actually lack the ability to break down those drugs, so then your body starts to store them. So if you don't have the proper enzymes to break down these molecules so that they can be excreted from the body, your body has no choice but to store them. They're often stored in fat, sometimes in the liver, but that's just going to lead to more inflammation and all sorts of problems with the immune system. Many medicines, ointments, salves, liniments, those all contain harmful ingredients. If you've ever grabbed a bottle of Furosin ointment or Furazone or anything like that, that bright yellow stuff that most of us have had at one time or another in our tack room, if you turn that container over and you read that, it says right on it, causes cancer in laboratory rats. Well, I don't know about you, but anything that causes cancer is not going on me, on my finger, or on my horse, and that's for sure. So there are natural alternatives that have existed for thousands and thousands of years, and we'll talk more about some of those today. There are lots of risks in handling drugs. Certainly if you've ever used any product to try to regulate a mare's estrus cycle, There's a product on the market called Regimate that is, I don't want to get too complicated, it has prostaglandins in it, which can be absorbed through the skin, and the receptors for the mare for those hormones are very similar to the receptors for the person. So if you actually get any of that on your skin, you can really have some negative effects to your the female reproductive tract. It actually says if you're pregnant, do not handle it because the risk of abortion is huge. So there's really a lot of risk with just even handling these drugs, not only applying them. And these natural remedies are often equally or even more effective than prescription or over-the-counter choices, and most often they have no negative side effects whatsoever. So why wouldn't you start there? And we all agree, those of us who sponsor this program, we all agree that there is a time and a place for drugs and surgery. But we just don't feel that that's the best place to start. So we like to start with natural options and then go from there. So when we ask why use natural alternatives for health, I ask, well, why not? Why wouldn't someone use natural alternatives? And that's typically because of a lack of knowledge. But that's where we come in. We're here to educate you tonight. So from ear plaques and bug spray to navicular and colic and lots of stuff in between. And that's just horse examples. And I know there's some non-horse people that are interested in this program. But you can think of everything from warts to arthritis and colitis. We certainly have natural alternatives. And for sure, essential oils can provide a safe, natural, and therapeutic option. And all of those things that I just mentioned, I've worked with people with essential oils to help get those things back into balance and resolve those symptoms. So first and foremost, what are essential oils? You've heard me talk about them a little bit, but maybe you have no clue what I'm talking about. So let me help you with that. So first is the complicated answer, which is very scientific, meaning that essential oils are volatile liquids distilled from aromatic plants. They're expertly cultivated, harvested, and steam distilled to preserve nature's living energy. But the simple answer is that essential oils are the plant's immune system. It's what they use to repair damage. It's what they use to fight off pests. It's just what keeps them healthy. It is their life force and their life energy. And they all have their own electrical frequency, and they really are powerful medicine. It's been said that a single drop of peppermint oil has the therapeutic benefit of anywhere between, I think, 16 and 30 cups of peppermint tea. So one drop of oil versus 16 to 30 cups of peppermint tea, it goes to show you just how powerful and how concentrated these products are, which is why the dosing is typically so low, really just a few drops per dose. So essential oils come from a wide variety of parts of the plants. So they may be extracted from the roots or the stems and leaves, sometimes even the bark, the seeds, often the fruit. I know all the citrus oils are expressed from the rind of the fruit, sometimes the flower, and in cases like where we're talking about frankincense, it comes from the resin, which is kind of like the sap of the plant. So really, depending on the plant, the essential oils are more concentrated in different parts. So we actually use different parts of the plant for all the different types of essential oils so that we can get nature's most powerful medicines. A little bit about oils in history. There are hieroglyphs in temples that depict hundreds of oil recipes used by alchemists and high priests. And they actually found 50 alabaster jars containing 350 liters of essential oils in King Tut's tomb. Okay, so we are talking a long time ago. These were the original medicines. There are over 200 references in the scripture of the use of aromatics, incense, and ointments, which are all related to essential oils. So these things have been around for a really long time, and we got really smart, so we thought with the advent of penicillin, and we decided to get away from these natural medicines, and we turned to drugs, but we're all starting to see the negative effects of that and going back to nature.